Hello and welcome to my desk. My name is Lena. Well, I think that most of you already have guessed that I am at the moment working with Lynda Barry. And I'm working with her making comics, and I have done the first exercise, which is to make page spreads. And now I am ready to do the second exercise, which is to put it into a cartoon with windows, you know, a cartoon style. And it's been very exciting, and I've been trying to follow her spirit with also, you know, like decorating the borders. I borrowed her design because I don't have any imagination myself. I really like her style of a lot of writing, and it's been so fun working with monster characters to express something sarcastic. And this second lesson that I have been doing today involves several characters that I had to build, and also I follow every single step, like naming them, trying to ask a lot of questions like where are they from, what are their identity, if they had like a statement, what would that be? So yeah, these other page spread is more me going back to syllabus, because I think you need to read this book first, and then maybe this is more understanding. You understand things better in this one if you have read this book here first. And I want to say that making comics and satire, you could call it, in a painting, where you, instead of using a picture of real person, you invent your own character and give it something to say, either by gluing it in the margin or simply just writing it up in the top of your cartoon, is a very creative way of working. And I think I needed, I was in a little bit of an art slump. I think I needed something new, so it's always cool to go to Lynda Barry. And in her books, it looks so overwhelming with all the text coming out. So in my next assignment here, I have embraced that by also adding in a lot of details, because I think that's what I like about her page spreads. There's so much to read, so it invites you to revisit her cartoons, because there's something you missed the first time you read it, and then you can go back and find clues of things you just kind of overlooked, you know. And I've been working with the last chapter, where I've been making my page spread for today. And I don't know, I think I'm nervous because this is the first time that I have to share something. I want to say something about Lynda Barry's style. It's very wild, and it speaks to your inner child. And when you read her page setup of how she would tell a story and how you should draw it, it looks straightforward, but when you start working in that style yourself, you question yourself constantly, because you think that yours looks so amateurish, like totally childish. But I think it's important to, as she also states in her books, that you have to get in touch with your inner child. And my inner child is a person who likes humor. I like to laugh. So, of course, my personality is gonna come out with something that I can laugh about. And I am not laughing at something, I'm laughing with something. So I don't feel that I'm evil when I am creating my page spreads. It definitely don't come from a place of hate. I really want to make that clear. And in this next chapter of her book, I have been working with a comic setup of windows, and I have taken her recommendation of only using 3 or 4 windows. I am down to 3 windows. So I'm working with a comic spread of 3 windows, and I try to, instead of having first a page where I put the figures and write about them, I have tried to do that on my last window, where the whole gallery of all the characters in my little comic strip is represented. And I have also worked with the overlapping windows. Like here they are like quadrants on a piece of paper. I've taken her suggestion of overlapping windows. I love working with Linda Barry. Actually, my Snark journal is built up inspired by Linda Barry, working with topics and windows. Like this is totally Linda Barry style, where you in the background are using a wallpaper, you could call it. Like here, a wallpaper and a monster. Like this is, what is it? It's somebody who's getting a ticket from car park, and the sign of when you can park is covered with snow. And so it's super unfair that this person is getting a ticket when you can't even read when are you allowed to park. And it's just a scene, but it's super Linda Barry inspired with the borders and everything. So I'm working with introducing my monster in my Snark journal here, and it's been super fun. So what I want to say is that now I'm gonna read up the storyline. That is one of the exercises in this book here, is that you write a storyline that could work as a voiceover to your cartoon. And I should just jump into it and presentate you for the cartoon. I hope you will receive it well, and just know that I am just as fragile as any other amateur artist out there in the void. I know that what I'm gonna present now is super childish, so some may not receive it well, but art can sometimes be vulnerable. But I wanted to show these 2 books in case you are in doubt what I am working with. And then let's get to the cartoon. Dear Diary, today at school we had trade math again. Our teacher is called Mr. Besant. He's not really a person, though he is a sort of a prototype teacher robot built by Elon, using a clone spawned out of the real-life Mr. Besant. We were told that he's powered by AI, but it seems like they're not really done downloading the intelligent part. Sometimes he kind of loops and just sits and repeats random words like fairness, leverage, and beautiful numbers. And other times he just lags, completely freezes for a while. But what really creepy is that sometimes when he's writing on the chalkboard, he forgets to turn his body, and then he just do a 180 where just his head spins around and look at us like a confused owl. Sometimes when real Mr. Besant goes on vacation, or could be he's laying at home with stress, he will get replaced with the clone hybrid, and we get a substitute at school. On those days, I like to watch TV, secretly wishing that clone Besant would do a 180 head turn by mistake. But so far, it seems like nobody has noticed that they are actually interacting with a hybrid. Well, he was sitting at the desk going through our homework in binary when suddenly the door opened and in came a Panican. Nobody had ever seen one before. He looked like a complete mess, all scared and timid, but at least he was wearing a suit. There was complete silence in the class when the Panican browsed the room and got seated. Mr. Besant woke up from his lagging freeze and just stated, beautiful. made an awkward hand gesture like something else was coming out of his mouth, but after a small silence, he cleared his throat and announced that today he was going to give us group work. We are working on this mega math project that so far have launched in January, and we have been working on it. And right now, where the market has crashed, we have now come to the point where we have to make a mandatory gratitude unit. So we got divided into groups. Deidre got to be in his own group. Apparently having 12 heads counts as a quorum. The rest of us had to pair up, and I got teamed with Panican, Flip-Floppian, and Rhino. Rhino said that he'd do all the talking, but when we had to actually do stuff, he vanished behind a hedge of talking points. But suddenly Rhino paused, leaned over and whispered, "Do you think that we are allowed to say the egg thing now?" I asked, "What egg thing?" And he said, "You know, you can't make an omelette without cracking some eggs." And suddenly everyone in the group got quiet except from Panican, who started screaming, "Eggs! What about eggs? We don't have any eggs." So we had to calm down Panican and tell him that last February someone said that during trade math, and Mr. Besant screamed, "There will be no egg analogies in this classroom." Then he erased the chalkboard so hard it squeaked for a week. Bringing up the eggs freaked out Flip-Floppian, who now had left the table and was trying to calm himself down by arguing with his own reflection in the classroom window. At one point, I had to find a paper bag for Panican to breathe in. Everything became more and more chaotic, and when Mr. Besant suddenly said, "Estimated time 5 minutes," things got really confused. Sometimes he just flings out words like that, and it could mean everything and absolutely nothing, from 5 minutes to lunch, 5 minutes to wrap things up, who knows. I got so stressed that I, by mistake, ate a glue stick. Then I started, "How about just being grateful that there is a plan?" "There is?" asked Flip-Floppian over from the window, and Rhino nodded like asking me to continue, and I said, "Well, whoever got the plan know what to do next, and that's positive, right?" I took a poster, and with a red crayon I drew the downward market curve, and then with a green crayon a flat line going up with exponential rate straight up towards the top, where I wrote "Beautifulness." "There," I said, "now we just have to follow the one with the big plan, whoever that is," I stuttered. Panican immediately threw a new fit and started yelling, "Nobody got the plan? There is no plan?" And I think that's when Mr. Besant suddenly said that the 5 minutes were up and we could take a recess. After recess, we had to present our group work. Since no one really explained what kind of greatness we're supposed to harvest from a global market crash, I just started improvising. I said that with much lower production, there bound to be less consumption, right? And less consumption of gas-powered cars, plastic gadgets, fast fashion, especially from the world's biggest customer, might actually be what the environment has needed for all along. I said, maybe with factories slowing down, fewer container ships moving cheap gadgets, and less consumption of fuel and plastic, we are actually giving the environment a breather. Not on purpose, of course, just because no one can afford to keep buying stuff. And maybe, just maybe, this focused slowdown is the first real step towards a greener future. Not a planned step. It's not like a Vogue agenda, just a side effect of the global panic, which ironically means that the greatest economy in the history of the world might accidentally have done more for the climate than any summit, policy, or recycled tote bag ever did. So yeah, I think we're grateful for the hoax that planted trees. Panican did most of the yelling right now. That's not the plan! That's eco-communism! And Rhino nodded, but didn't say anything and shook his head like yes or no. Floppypian agreed first to meet, then changed his mind and backed up Panican and then tried to simply cancel himself. I stood there holding our poster upside down. Honestly, I think it all stunk. But then Vedra started to clap. All 12 heads were talking all at once. One was shouting out, "Oh, that was beautiful." Another one whispered, "I've never seen anything like it. Best group project in the history of the school." So tremendously, people are already talking about it. "We hope you get a bigly grade." I don't know if they really meant it, but hey, they loved it. So I guess I did good after school. I did good after all in school today. So that was my comic entry. Oh my god. I chose to, as Linda Barry suggests, to take yourself out of the narrative by making it like a journal entry made from my Want Monster. And then I tried to put in a lot of detail, like she's had extremely many details in her comics. I mean, everything is yeah, filled with words, so I tried to do the same. So I got some references that makes me laugh in this page spread here. I like that it's called The New Kid on the Block, because I think the phrase "a panican" is newly introduced by Trump. And I think it's funny that my monster is at school in Monsters University. And of course, the math teacher is the trade minister, bot. And there is a reference down here to Monsters University. Remember when the monsters returned from the kids' room, and if they had like a baby sock attached to the back, they all panicked and freaked out? So I was laughing when I had to draw the panican here. And I got a lot of references, just like Linda Barry. Mine are more like mathematical jokes, like if you... Yeah, it's because the first time I saw that equation right there, I thought, what the hell is that? It looks so a strange way of using Greek symbols. So I was thinking, since the trade equation and the whole ordeal with the trade tariffs was, according today, to make a situation where all the countries are coming to the negotiation table, negotiating hopefully a zero tariff side. But it was wrapped into something else. It was wrapped into the opposite. Like, now this country is going to make a lot of earnings to the government from the citizens in its own country through tariffs, right? So the trade was wrapped into something else. So that's why I'm having a mathematical pun up here, that this equation here is wrapped into something else, which is woke justice math. So I have sit and translated all the Greek signs that you could work with in an equation like that into woke things, and it has been like super fun. So there is a lot of extra things that you can read out of this page spread here, which I think is totally up the alley of Linda Barry, and it was super fun to work like that. And then I worked with the brainstorming that she does, where you first find some caricatures. In this case, let's call them monsters. And to set the stage, I was thinking about, oh my god, the first thing that made me laugh was the word "a panican." There's something really likable about that word. I don't know. Have you ever heard the phrase about there is plus and minus words? Like some words just are positive to hear and some are like less positive. An example would be like vacation. Embedded in vacation is something positive, so it's also positive to say it. Fiduciary responsibility, supposedly meaning something positive, but when you say it, it's so heavy that it can feel a little bit negative if somebody is throwing that sentence to your head. What about your fiduciary responsibility? Which is actually an example of a positive and a somewhat negative loaded word, even though it embeds something positive. Does it make sense? So for me, a panican, it gave me association of pancakes. I really love pancakes. And I thought that a panican in plural, panicans, that sounds even funny. A group of panicans makes me think about pelicans for some reason. But I chose that it should actually be a can, because then I could also put in the word that inside this can is an empty echo chamber. So I kind of think that I found the perfect monster caricature to draw how I think a panican could look in a Linda Barry universe. And then I looked at my own political stage here in Denmark, and in every political party there are some stereotypes, and it could be so much fun for me to work with those, but they would give like absolutely no meaning for anybody who's not Danish. So I was thinking if I ever should do like a flip through of this journal at the moment, it could be better to work with the American politics, because panican belongs to American politics. So I was thinking about this rhino here is shortage for Republican in name only talk conservative but vote globalist. Every political party got a person like that, you know. And then a flip-floppian is a person who is constantly wants to be on the winning team and constantly arguing with its own reflection on live TV. I think we all know politicians like that. And then I got like the Vedra monster here, and it represents when somebody is saying they all loved it, they all want it. And then when somebody asks, who are they? And then it's difficult for a politician to sit and name drop, you know. But we hear it often also in Denmark that politicians, when they really want to come across with their argument, they sort of make it sound like the majority, they wants it. So I thought it was fun that they actually could be a singularis thing, but since it got like multiple heads, it's a they, because all these heads got opinions. So I was playing with that monster type. Yeah, so I think I got around the essay here of creating a cartoon, 3 windows, 1, 2, and then this is one whole window. I might need to drop a background color on this so that these speech bubbles pop more. Yeah, but it was fun, and like I said, I know that if people think it's childish, but to my defense, when you have spent time in company with Linda Barry, she kind of give you a confident boost that what you are doing is okay, and it's coming from a place that's very playful in your heart. And yeah, so if you're not familiar with these books, it's I don't even know how to do a review of them. I like to work with them, and I think I like to work with the satire that you can build into cartoon figures. So I want to learn more about making satirical comic. Yeah. And what I've been learning so far is that it's very difficult to brainstorm it. I try to use all her mind mapping, but I think once you get a good starting point, which is either a situation that you ponder about, or maybe in my case, a newly introduced thing as a panicam, that's a good starting point. So in case you want to play along with the Lynda Barry style, go find something that made you laugh when you first heard it, and try, like Lynda Barry, to do a mind map over why do you think that spoke to you? Why was it funny? How could you do add-ons to that universe and then create your own monsterverse? And what would be fun for you to have as hidden Easter eggs? Like I got the Easter eggs with the Monsters University and the stockings down here. That's totally an Easter egg for me. And yeah, so I should end this now. But thank you for watching along. I wish you a nice weekend, and remember to get out in the good weather. It's springtime. So bye bye.